So today we are going to inspect the current prices of boxed and complete Donkey Kong games in 2025. We will solely focus on home console games, so no handhelds here. We will also be trying to find games that are in overall good condition, not quite mint, but no noticeable damage either. So yeah, let's see what we can find. So if we start with the NES, we're going to have the Donkey Kong Classics. I would say the game I have here would just about pass for good condition, but let's check for current prices. So we'll start by checking CEX, and they are selling the game for £32 with manual, and only 2 in stock. However, there is no way to know the condition of the game. The box could be top quality, or absolute trash, so we'll have to navigate to eBay. So this is currently on auction at £51, with a couple bids, and the condition looks overall decent. So this is an okay reference point, as auctions tend to be the most accurate way to determine value, as it displays what people are willing to spend. So unfortunately, this was the cheapest I could find, for £60 complete and not in bad condition. It has some wear on the corners, so some people might not be happy with that. This one is available in proper nice condition at £90. But let's check out the sold listings. So this sold for just under £48. Looks to be in good condition, so the seller could have probably got more. We have an auction that sold for £82. So your current options would be to take a chance on CEX at £32 and manifest positive energy that it won't arrive in garbage condition. Or try win that auction currently at £51, or the one I showed earlier selling at £60. But yeah, let's see the other NES Donkey Kong games. I unfortunately don't have any of the other games as they are quite rare. I also couldn't find a single listing for a boxed, complete English version of the games, so we'll have to rely on the CEX price guide. So Donkey Kong Jr. Math, they have listed for £200 with 0 in stock. So most likely, if one comes up online, it will sell for a lot more than this. Same for Donkey Kong 3, which they have listed with manual for £95, with none available, and they have probably not updated the price in a very long time. So again, most likely these games will sell for multiple hundreds, especially if they're in good condition. Even the cheapest one, the original Donkey Kong, they have listed for £70 with 0 available. So yeah, these games are just crazy expensive and super hard to find, which correlates to, speaking of super, we can migrate to the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong games. So the original Donkey Kong game, we can try to find with the CD in good condition. CEX will sell with the manual for £40, but it probably won't come with the CD. I found this on eBay with the CD for just under £105. This was the best I could find without the CD in good condition, but it doesn't come with a manual either. This one sold with the CD for just under £69, so the seller probably could have got more. This sold without the CD on auction for £42. So your best current options would be to try CEX at £40, or buy the game on eBay with the CD for £105, or without CD and manual for £42. So I guess we can switch over to the sequel. So CEX are currently selling Donkey Kong Country 2 with manual for £65. But surprisingly, there is 0 in stock. The best I could find is this for £60. However, the manual is a bit damaged. But we can quickly check out the big box version and see how much that sells for as well. So this one is selling for just under £620. And on the sold listings, this one sold for just under £520. And this one sold on best offer for around £300 without the game, and the box is in quite poor condition. But back to the standard box version, I found one that sold for just under £48, but the manual is missing. So your current options would be to wait for CEX to get one in stock at £65, or buy it on eBay for £60. However, let's transfer over to the next sequel. So to find the game complete in good condition, you can try CEX, who are selling the game with manual for £55, having only 3 in stock. On eBay, I found this for £68. There were some in the 40 to 50 range, but the boxes were quite poor. I found this sold for £30, however there was no manual, also a small tear at the back. This one did sell on auction for just under £47, so your current options would be to try CEX for £55, or the one on eBay for just under £70. I know I said I would avoid the handhelds, but let's quickly glance at the Donkey Kong Land games and the current CEX prices. So the original with manual is £45, Donkey Kong Land 2 is £40, and Donkey Kong Land 3 is £50 with 0 in stock. But let's switch consoles and get to the N64. So CEX will sell Donkey Kong 64 with manual and expansion pack for £80, and without expansion pack for £35. I found this with expansion pack for £78. The rest were all selling in the £90 to £100 range. This sold on auction for £93 with a small tear. So your options are try CEX for £80, or the one I found on eBay for £78. I wasn't going to include Diddy Kong Racing, but CEX will sell with manual for £30, and I found this on eBay for just under £27. However, let's evolve into the GameCube era of Donkey Kong games. So I couldn't be bothered to take the game out of the big box, CEX. But CEX will sell you the game with bongos for £25. However, it's worth noting that you may not get the actual box and it could just be the game with the bongos. But you could buy this on eBay for £45. But the sleeve does have some tears on the edges. However, it is very hard to find sleeves to have no damage. This surprisingly sold for £33 on auction, with the game still sealed. But it's worth noting that the box sleeve did have some damage. This one did sell for £44 in rather nice condition. So your options are to try CX for £25 or the one on eBay for £45. But how about the sequel, Donkey Konga 2? Trying to find one with the sleeve not torn is going to be difficult. You can try CX for £38. I found this on eBay for £63, although there's a bit of damage to the sleeve. And this sold for around £30 on best offer. There is some damage, but nothing crazy, so overall it was a good deal. So you can try CX for £38, or the one on eBay for £63. But let's check the ultimate game from the GameCube era. And we won't be looking at the Wii version of this game, but it tends to sell for around £10. So CX are selling for £38. Surprisingly, I could only find this for over £100 on eBay, but it is in pretty good condition. But this one did sell for around £50 on best offer. So not many suitable options, but you could try CEX for £38 or pay a high price on eBay for over £100. But I guess I'll just add in that you can get the Wii version from CEX for £6. But let's jump to the other Wii Donkey Kong games. So CEX will sell Donkey Kong Jet Race for £6 or buy this on eBay for £7, and sold listings range from £7 to £10. So not much difference. You can try CEX for £6, but it might not come with a manual, or eBay for £7 with manual. But let's switch to Donkey Kong Country Returns. You can try CEX for £5 or eBay anywhere from £7 to £10, although there are sold listings at £5 also. So pretty much the same. You can get the game for around £5 to £10 max. However, the Nintendo Switch version of the game is selling for £40 at CEX, and the 3DS version at £10. Jumping to the Wii U, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze will cost £6, and you won't get it much cheaper on eBay. Although the Nintendo Switch version will cost you £38 just for a stupid Funky Kong Easy mode and better portability. And at last, we reached the Nintendo Switch 2 with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Since it's a very recent release, you can buy it used from CEX at £58, or you may choose to purchase it brand new sealed at standard retail price. So if we give an estimated calculation, just the NES games, and if you want the big box version of Donkey Kong Country 2, it will most likely cost over £1,000. Whilst adding the more affordable games, it will easily bump the price to over $1,500. So yeah, retro collecting is getting rather pricey. Perhaps I should take a look at some other gaming franchises to view how much it would cost to acquire a full collection in 2025. But yeah, this was the first video on the channel. I don't know if there is much appeal for this type of format, so I guess I'll have to wait and see if there's any positive reception. So for now, I might just experiment and see if anything connects. As I understand, there is a large abundance of gaming channels flooding the space, so you gotta do something to stand out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.